Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. It's Kira from Budget and Hill, where I help women to get out of debt and out of financial survival mode. I know it's been a minute, guys, but I have some good news. But before I get into the good news, I did want to remind you guys that you know that I love being out in nature. And when we're out in nature, we hear things like airplanes, cars, sirens. We hear the ducks quacking around me, right? So you're going to hear some things, but it's a good practice to be out in nature because remember, nature resets your mind and your body and it keeps you calm, which is important when we're doing this good old work, right? So in case you guys are new here, I do budget with me videos and I let you guys in behind the scenes of my personal life sometimes too. But today we are going to focus on my paycheck budget for March the 30th. Now, I have to warn you guys, I kind of went crazy, but I tracked every single thing. So even though I did the budget a little bit later, I'm still on point because I track everything. So it's just a matter of going back, filling in the information. Okay, so this paycheck is again for March 30th, 2026. And this was my second paycheck for March. If you guys don't know, I'm also a registered nurse. I'm a trauma-informed money coach and a registered nurse. And this is for my registered nursing income only, okay? There's a truck coming. We're gonna just let that pass and stay focused, okay? So this is for my school nursing income, in which I received $2,386.06. If you are new here, you know that that number is a little higher than normal. And yes, I am a registered nurse. Yes, I live in the Northeast, but because I have so much being taken out of my paycheck, my take-home pay is typically way lower. It's actually $1,800 bi-weekly. But because I paused my 403B, long story, I'll put that video up here so you guys can see and go back and check that out. I paused my 403B. I was so pissed, but I have good news. I restarted a new one. It's called the self-directed. It's a self-directed plan, which I didn't even know that my job offered. My fees for the year, $65 compared to 1.5%. 1.5% might not sound like a lot, but go back and watch that video. It's a lot over time. Nonetheless, from my school nurse job, that was my pay, $23.8606. But I did transfer $1,350 from my sinking fund saving account, my vacation sinking fund saving account, because I just came off vacation. I went to the beautiful, beautiful country of St. Lucia, and I had an amazing time. So that brings my total in the income section to $3,736.06. But remember, guys, my income from school nursing was only $23.86. The reason why I add the vacation sinking fund to the income section is because it's being put into my checking account. So for simplicity, I just leave it in the income section. And as a reminder, the income section says, count your blessings. Each paycheck is a stepping stone towards your goals. Remember, we are using our paychecks to fund our goals, to fund our dreams, okay? If you come over, you'll see the savings section. Now in the savings section, it says, think and plan ahead. Your future self will thank you for the choices you make today. We are planting seeds, baby. We are planting seeds for our goals. So my stress-free sinking fund, I allocated $100. I typically allocate $100 every pay period. It doesn't matter, even though my sinking fund, I have my sinking fund fully filled. But baby, with these current times, you want to just keep contributing, right? I also allocate $400 to my investment sinking fund. And in that investment sinking fund, that can be for if I want to take money out of there and put it in my Roth IRA, if I want to take money out of there and put it on a new investment idea I have, It's just money that's sitting in a high yield savings account for when I would like to invest. So for instance, this week I transferred $2,000 out of there to put in my Roth IRA because I had an epiphany last night, literally. I want to max out my Roth IRA in June. And I'm not going to lie, initially I was going to max it out, but I wasn't going to be done until April 2027. But I said, you know what? That money is just sitting there, and I want to really, really, really deep dive into investing more. I want to invest more, not want. All of my needs are met in abundance with ease daily. I desire to invest more. So I'm going to take money out of my investment sinking fund, $2,000 specifically, every month from April to June, and I'm going to fully fund my Roth IRA. June. So that'll be 6 months. I fully fund my Roth IRA. And this year, the max is $7,500. Last year, the max was $7,000. I'm ready to invest a lot, guys, because I'm ready to create more options for myself. And saving is super duper uber important, but investing is what's going to get you there. Okay. And I can't tell you what to invest in. Don't forget, investing, there's risks that come with investing, okay? Now, will you guys see HYSA? That stands for High Yield Savings Account. That money was from my 403B that I paused. What happens when you pause your 403B, the money that they were taking out, right? You'll now get more money allocated to your take-home pay because they're no longer taking that out. So instead of just blowing it, I decided to put it inside of my high yield sinking fund. Sorry. The airplane distracted me, and I'm telling you guys not to be distracted. Instead of blowing the money, I put it in my sinking fund. And I'm just going to really use it to invest. But again, my 403B has restarted this month. Yeah, actually this week, a lot of amazing things this week, amazing things last week. I'm gonna catch y'all up. But yeah, that was $582.66. My birthday and vacation sinking funds, 100. I put $100 each in those funds. So for my birthday, I allocate $100 for in my sinking fund. Then for vacation, I allocate $100. So that total was $200. My Roth IRA, $468.75. That is what I was allocating every month from January to April. But effective this week, I will be allocating $2,000 to my Roth IRA to fully max that out. So that brings my total savings to $1,751.41. As a reminder, guys, this paycheck budget is for one pay period. It is not for the month. It is for one pay period, and it was created so that you don't feel overwhelmed. You can focus on your bills and your savings in a micro way. Instead of looking at the month from a macro perspective, you can focus on a micro perspective, right? And just focus on one pay period. So that way, you'll be able to keep your nervous system calm, right? And you'll also be able to do this in a way that provides you clarity. I ain't gonna front. I'm not even annoyed by the planes because I'm wishing I was on one right now. Anyway, again, that brings my savings this particular pay period to $1,751.41. Now, when we come over to the recurring bills section, it says pay your bills on time. Punctual payments pave the path to peace. It also increases your credit score. Because we know when you pay your bills on time every time, that increases your credit score because that's about 35% of the total weight for your credit score. And don't forget, if you're going to be late or if you are late, and you're not typically late, call them. Let them know. People flying out today. Call them, let them know that this doesn't normally happen. Ask them, can they waive that? And typically they will waive it if it's not a regular occurrence, okay? So, recurring bills. For laundry, $15. Gas, $66.30. Easy Pass, $25. Church scholarship, that was $50. And then last but not least in this section was food. I did overspend in my food budget. I spent $445.04. I for sure went over. So my total recurring bills for this particular pay period was $601.34. When you come over to the flexible spending, I was shopping. It says, spend wisely. Each decision you make today shapes your financial freedom tomorrow. So I did order from Amazon, $102.05. I ordered from Cheesecake Factory. That was $48.56. And can I just tell you, it wasn't even worth it. That in and of itself annoyed me. But anywho, CVS, I spent $18.85. I got a mani and a pedi. Including the tip, I spent $113. Chipotle, I went to Chipotle about 2 times. And I went to Chipotle 2 times, and that was $21.49. I purchased some weights. I purchased two 15-pound weights. I purchased an 8-pound weight vest, but I'm going to give that to my cousin because it's too light. But because I wore it twice, I would have took it back, but I actually wore it, and I don't want to take it back. I felt convicted, like I don't want to take it back after I wore it, like. But I ain't gonna front. There's a time now. I used to do stuff like that, but I don't do stuff like that anymore. I've learned, I've matured, I've evolved. Right? So I got two 15-pound weights. I got the 8-pound vest that I'm giving to my cousin. But then I ordered a vest from Amazon, a 20-pound. So the vest is adjustable. And I would say this, ladies, if you plan on ordering a weight vest, get you an adjustable weight vest. And the reason why I say that is because the adjustable weight vest, as you work out and you begin to be able to carry more weight, right? Instead of buying multiple vests, you can just add the little bags in there. So the vest that I ordered, it goes from 11 pounds to 20 pounds. And they have 1.5 pound, they have about 6 1.5 individual bags that I could just stuff in there or take out. I could also add like a water bottle or something in there. So, and I paid a little bit more for it, probably like $10, $15 more than I paid for the 8-pound vest. So it was totally worth it for sure. And I got that off of Amazon. And then I bought some household items also, like pillows, lights, things of that nature. So my total came up to $172.71. And then I renewed my nursing license. That's not due until May 30th. But I had some extra leftover money, so I said, let me just pay it now to get it out the way, because you don't know what bills or what have you could come up next month. And since you have the money, it's like you don't always have to wait until something is due. If you have the money, pay it. It just removes that off of your plate, right? So I paid $120 for my nursing license. No, I paid $125 for my nursing license. The nursing license in and of itself was $120. But when you renew your nursing license, and I'm sure it's for, well, I'm not going to say I'm sure it's for others because that might not be true. But when I renewed my nursing license, you pay a $5 fee. I forgot the name of it, but you pay a $5 fee for other nurses who struggle with drug, alcohol, or mental health issues. So typically what happens, if there's a nurse who struggles with drug, alcohol, or mental health issues, to my understanding, and guys, correct me if you know more better than me, to my understanding, they're not supposed to get fired, right? Instead of being fired, they are typically ordered to go to a rehabilitation program or something of that nature. So that's what that $5 goes to. It's like grant money for nurses who have substance abuse issues or mental health issues. And I'm gonna be honest, I've been a nurse since 2009. Initially, I was a licensed practical nurse, and then I became a registered nurse in 2018. I don't recall paying that $5 fee as a licensed practical nurse, but maybe I did. I was in survival mode back then, so who knows. And then I paid $351 for our marriage certificate. Yes, girl, your good sis got married. I paid $351. He paid $351. So we just we went half. We going half on life. We going half on that certificate, okay? And my total for my flexible spending category was $952.66. Now, when we come over to the debt payment section, the debt payment section says, clear your debts, clear your mind. Freedom starts with accountability. So in paying our debt, right, of any sort, whether you're paying it off for the month or you're paying it off monthly, however you're managing it, right, you're ultimately taking accountability for making the purchases on that card. So shout out to you and me, right? So initially, my payment was $34.43, but I used points on my credit card to pay the $25, and then I was left with the $9.43. So that brings my total debt to $9.43. So I paid that off. And as a reminder, I know you guys know, I know it's cliche, I know you've heard it 50,000 times, but please, if you are able to, make sure you pay your credit card bill in full every month, okay? Because that's going to be very helpful. It's going to prevent you from paying interest. It's going to prevent your credit from going downhill. So that'll be very helpful. So when we come to the budget summary section, guys, you can see the income that it has is $3,736.06 minus my recurring bills, which total was $601.34, minus my flexible spending, which was $952.66, minus the debt, $9.42, minus the savings, which was $1,751.41. So the total amount that I spent in with this paycheck budget in this pay period was $3,314.84. Okay? The amount that I have left, $421.22. Right? And my next money date is April the 14th, 2026. Now, as we look at the cash flow compass, guys, I really, really like the cash flow compass because it allows you, not only the cash flow compass though, I love the paycheck budget and the cash flow compass because it allows you to work on your relationship with your money. I'm a digital girl and a pen and pad girl. I do it pen and pad first and then I do it digitally. And I print out the digital PDF. The cash flow compass says, by embracing organization and taking control, you're not just managing numbers, you're creating your future and building your dreams. So there are little tidbits of reminders of why you're doing what you're doing, why you're constantly working on your paycheck budget, okay? So as you look on a cash flow compass, you see that I have all of the categories there. These are the same categories that are actually listed on the paycheck budget. And then I have the amount column, the due date column, date paid column, and any notes. So for example, if you look at the first category, stress-free sinking fund, the amount I paid again was $100. It was due the 30th. It got paid on the 30th. I paid myself essentially on the 30th. And then in the notes, you see it says automated because it's automated. The reason why it's not checked off, it doesn't get checked off until it clears. Okay? Okay, we're back. It was just too many flying around. Gosh, Lee. All right. So when we look at groceries, I told you guys I overspent in that category. So in order to get a hold of my spending as it pertains to food, I went back to doing what I normally do, which is transferring a certain number to a separate account for food only. Now, I mentioned this card before. This card that I'm transferring it to, well, that I transferred it to, it's only accepted in certain grocery stores. So I can't even go out to like Chipotle to get something to eat because it's not accepted. So we'll see how that goes, right? And again, we're only checking off things that have cleared. If it has not cleared, we don't check it off because we want to know what's going on. This is how you're able to follow the money. So if they say, oh no, you didn't send this in, you can go right to your cash flow compass and look to see when you sent it in, okay? So I wanted to end this video with what I probably should have began with. But the easiest way for you to complete your paycheck budget and your cash flow compass is by gathering your receipts for cash, all the cash that you spent, gather your receipts. And then for your cards that you use, whether that's a debit card or a credit card, you want to print out your transactions on your bank account from your debit or on your credit card account, okay? You want to print out those transactions. Now, very important, when you print out those transactions in an effort to prevent yourself from overwhelming yourself, I got paid on the 30th of March, right? So I'm only looking from March to, let's say, April the 14th. That's the day before I get my next paycheck. I'm not printing out the entire transactions for 3 months. It's no need. I'm only looking at that pay period in which I make the transactions. That's all I'm looking at. That's all I'm focused on. So for me, that was, look at that. That was one page front and back. That's all it was. So that way it keeps you from becoming overwhelmed, right? And all you do is comparing. You making sure you're tracking everything. Now listen, are you going to have to do this forever? No, you're not going to have to track every single cent forever. You're only doing this until you pay off your debt, until you save up enough money to where you feel comfortable, where you feel like you don't have to do this anymore. For me, it's important for me to always track it because I have to be a good steward of this money. Like, I have to be a good steward over these blessings. So I'll probably be tracking forever, but the tracking will look different, right? I won't always track every single dollar, but I might track, things that need to be tracked. For me, that's food. Why? Because I will overspend in a food budget. Just being honest, right? So that's something that I will always want to track because even though I overspend in that budget, I still want to know how much I'm spending in that particular category. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If so, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next video. Have an amazing day, guys. Later.